Okay, so he goes, right. As he sat on the Mount of Olives, this is still Matthew 24, Jesus is sitting on the Mount of Olives. The disciples came to him privately. He's about to tell them about his return. The significance of the fact that he was on the Mount of Olives is that when Christ comes back to earth, the first place he's going to set his feet is the Mount of Olives. How do we know this? Zechariah chapter 14 tells us that Christ is going to set his feet on the Mount of Olives, and in fact the Mount of Olives is going to split in two.
What's that, Zechariah?
Zechariah chapter 14 shows that when Christ comes back to earth, the place he's going to physically come back to is the Mount of Olives. He's going to put his feet on the Mount of Olives. Alright, I'll just jump there quickly. Zechariah 14 verse 4. It says, on that day his feet shall stand on the Mount of Olives that lies before Jerusalem on the east. And on the Mount of Olives shall be split in two from east to west by a very wide valley, so that one half of the mountain shall move northward and the other half southward.
Was this the rapture we're talking about?
This is the last days. This is the return of Christ. It's talking about the return of Christ. In fact, Zechariah 14 verse 1. Behold, a day is coming for the Lord when the spoil taken from you will be divided in your midst. For I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem to battle. I believe this is the Battle of Armageddon. And the city shall be taken and the houses plundered, the women raped. Wow. Half of the city shall go into exile. The Bible just says some things sometimes, and you're like, okay then. Wow.
But that's what happens in warfare.
Right.
Women get raped, If you hear on the news, it's standard thing.
It's the wickedness of men's hearts, it's the wickedness of men's heart. This is how wicked the world becomes. And the Bible does say that the world does become very wicked in the last days. Half of the city shall go into exile, but the rest of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then the Lord will go out and fight against those nations as when he fights on the day of battle. On that day, the Lord comes back to put an end to it all. This is when God's focus turns back to Israel and turns back to Jerusalem now. And now God, he becomes the king. He starts fighting. And it says, on that day, his feet shall stand